Around BVA. Never Too Late for Rigorous Personal Fitness by George Hallman. A side view photo accompanies this first Around BVA entry. It depicts an older-looking gentleman walking on what appears to be a state-of-the-art treadmill. The man is wearing dark glasses and gym clothes. To his immediate right is a light-colored wall. A very small shelf on the wall gives place to a black-colored telephone that is no longer commonly seen in everyday life in 2022, but is probably from the 1970s or 80s. A cell phone, however, sits on top of the treadmill next to the left of the distance indicators in front of him. The caption states, George Hallman braces for one of two workouts on his treadmill during a given week. The article begins with the following editor's note. In early January, BVA National Headquarters distributed information about the VA Sports for Vets Throwdown. In response, we received a response from George, a longtime BVA member from West Columbia, South Carolina. George was uniquely qualified for this virtual event because of an intense physical routine that he has maintained for many years. Apart from the throwdown, we asked him to share his personal story of staying in shape for an issue of the Bulletin. He agreed to do so on the condition that we clearly convey that BVA asked for the article, not vice versa. I do not want anyone to assume that I was brazen enough to set myself up as a model for anyone, he told us. George's article proceeds as follows. After graduating from high school, I played one season of professional baseball in the Cincinnati Reds organization before enlisting in the U.S. Air Force. I went through training to become a radio operator and served in both Japan and Korea. 2 months prior to my 20th birthday, I was injured in Korea and was left permanently and totally blind. Following multiple surgical procedures, I attended the Rehabilitation Center at Hines VA Hospital, a center then under the direction of affable Russ Williams. At an earlier time, Russ Williams served as the first ever BVA Executive Director and was also a member of the Board of Directors after that. Dr. Ron Miller, another future executive director, was a patient with me at Hines. I have great respect for both outstanding leaders. Both were close personal friends. Following completion of training at Hines, I married a wonderful nurse, attended undergraduate and graduate schools, earned a doctoral degree from the University of Georgia, taught psychology at college and university levels for 38 years, and for 10 more years served as a mentor in the Department of Athletics at the University of South Carolina. I have been involved in physical fitness and athletic activities for most of my life. Now, at age 87, I have a customized 5-day-per-week fitness program that includes at least 75 sit-ups each day. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, I do at least 1,000 push-ups, a full range of weightlifting that includes presses, curls of biceps and forearms, and pulls. Additionally, I do lots of hand grip exercises. Also on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I follow weightlifting with at least 30 minutes on a treadmill. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I spend from 45 to 60 minutes on a treadmill. On each of these 5 days, I do several hundred half squats. I'm not recommending a similar program as a model for anyone. I am simply saying it is never too late, assuming one has no physical limitations, to engage in physical fitness activities. The benefits of being physically fit cannot, in my opinion, ever be overstated. Besides a feeling of general well-being, being physically fit helps to maintain a high energy level and again, in my opinion, is essential for maximizing intellectual, physical, and emotional development and functioning. If you do not regularly participate in a moderate to strenuous fitness program and would like to do so, I suggest you undergo a thorough physical examination by a physician to rule out any health issues that might limit your participation in strenuous physical activities. If you have no limiting conditions, seek the service of a qualified trainer who can help you design a program designed to meet your needs. If you have been inactive for a prolonged time, getting started can be difficult. Stick with your program for at least 6 weeks, and it is likely that the program will become a routine you will never regret. A fitness program, in my opinion, involves every phase of daily life, including consistent and regular brushing of teeth, proper diet and hydration, and sufficient rest. My program is not a recommendation for anyone. Determine what your fitness goals are and design a program to meet them. If I can be of assistance to anyone, the Bulletin editors can tell you how to reach me. National President presents priorities in joint hearing. Joe McNeil formed part of a 9-member panel of VSOs on March 2 as he summarized BVA's priorities for the second session of the 117th Congress in a joint hearing of the House and Senate Committees on Veterans Affairs. The setting was the Senate side of the U.S. Capitol, with Chairman John Tester, D. Montana, directing and moderating the proceedings. The hearing was conducted as a hybrid meeting with both virtual and in-person participation. Joe made his presentation a virtual one from his home in Columbus, Georgia. A question-and-answer period followed the presentations. The annual presentations provide the platform for the VSOs to highlight points of emphasis in their written testimonies submitted for the congressional record. Highlighted in Joe's oral testimony were improved oversight of VA Section 508 accessibility compliance, effective implementation of caregiver benefit programs, and VA auto-grant legislation. The written testimony also addressed adequate funding for VA blind rehabilitation service, continued improvement of programs and services for women veterans, enactment of adequate protections for guide dogs on federal properties, and support for the budget request for prosthetics and sensory aids. To read the written document submitted to Congress shortly before the hearing, please visit https://bva.org/government-relations/ BVA mourns passing of Ohio's stalwart leader. Vietnam-era Army veteran David T. May, a fierce advocate of blinded veterans and BVA in the Columbus, Ohio area for more than 3 decades, passed away February 24. Dave was my mentor in BVA and DAV, Disabled American Veterans, as well, said Ed Loudon, whom Dave helped elect as the Ohio Regional Group President 2 years ago. Dave was also known for working effectively with VA personnel, especially former longtime VIST coordinator and Cleveland BRC director Ellen Papadimoulis. The two formed a productive partnership for BVA and VA at the Lewis Stokes VA Medical Center until Ellen's retirement in early 2015. Dave accrued more than 20,000 volunteer hours with BVA and DAV. His obituary said that he had a heart for all veterans and worked tirelessly to help in whatever area they needed. He attended many winter sports clinics and tea tournaments, always on the lookout for opportunities to help. He was a past department commander of DAV. His recent assignment relating to veterans was as a commissioner with the Stark County Veterans Service Commission. Dave is survived by his wife of 53 years, Christina, 2 daughters, a granddaughter, and a brother-in-law. NJRG members advocate for improved transportation. Led by President Bill Graves and Vice President Mustafa Shabazz, members of the New Jersey Regional Group recently united successfully with other New Jersey veterans in expressing frustration with the complex web of disconnected transportation services within the state system when trying to reach VA appointments. In a February 16 virtual hearing before the State Assembly Military and Veterans Affairs Committee, thanks in large part to Bill and Mustafa being unwilling to take no for an answer, several veterans recounted tales of late and missing rides, unreturned calls, and long waits that forced some to forego medical treatment. Although New Jersey has a state-level program that operates in partnership with each of New Jersey's 21 counties to help veterans reach VA medical centers, the program has faced funding cuts that have resulted in spotty services. The result in the end has forced veterans to miss critical medical procedures or wait hours for a ride to or from a hospital. The veterans who testified before the Assembly panel made several suggestions for improvement, among them an expansion of a paratransit system that serves residents with disabilities to more areas of the state. They also suggested that the state link its transportation services with those provided by counties and volunteers through a central system that would allow the currently unconnected systems to communicate with each other so that veterans could call just one number for a ride instead of going to multiple services that often do not respond anyway. The efforts of the New Jersey Regional Group offer a model for how BVA members can become involved in local issues that affect them, informing local officials of problems, and influencing public policy on a state and local level to improve the quality of life for blinded veterans and their families. Columbus chapter restores annual holiday dinner. An accompanying group photo shows 4 adults standing together and looking directly ahead with only the faintest of smiles. 2 ladies on the left and 2 gentlemen on the right. The 2 men are holding white canes. The man on the far right is holding up a plaque in front of the second one, who is next to him. Although the engraving on the plaque appears small in the photo, the clarity of this image allows the lettering of the entire plaque to be visible, including the name Otis Smith, to whom the plaque has been presented. Otis distinguishes himself further from the others in the group by a sport coat containing an embroidered BVA patch above the left front pocket. The caption states, "Left to right, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, VIST Coordinator Dr. Deborah Tazewell, Elizabeth Holmes, Otis Smith, and Georgia Regional Group President Raymond Thorne." The short blurb begins, "Although the Georgia Regional Group's Columbus chapter missed but one annual holiday dinner due to the pandemic, somehow it seemed like many more as chapter members gathered December 4 for a festive meal of turkey, ham, stuffing, and other traditional staples. The event occurred at the Kirkland Memorial Baptist Church in Columbus. It seemed like we missed more than one dinner because here we were presenting awards to our members for their work back in 2019 when 2022 was already upon us," said Elizabeth Holmes. Chapter member Otis Smith received the 2019 Robert N. Willis Achievement Award, and Elizabeth received the Dr. Norman Jones Jr. Achievement Award, both of which represent exemplary service to the chapter. BVA Auxiliary National Treasurer Ben Holmes was presented with a Georgia Regional Group Service Award for his continuous exceptional service to the group members for more than 5 years as of late 2019. A 50-50 drawing for raffled gifts, courtesy of the BVA Auxiliary and totaling $122, sent Ben home pleased for a second reason as he drew the winning ticket. "It was so great to get together after missing this event the year before," Elizabeth said. "Nothing can replace an in-person dinner party with veterans during the holiday season." Wade Davis appears before Texas Governor's Committee. Greater Houston Regional Group member and National Veterans Care Review Specialist Wade Davis joined representatives of Guide Dogs for the Blind, Canine Companions for Independence, the American Council of the Blind, and the National Federation of the Blind on January 27 in a presentation to the Texas Governor's Committee on People with Disabilities. The presentation was an effort to strengthen Texas state law protecting guide dogs and service dogs, and to penalize those using or selling certificates for fraudulent service dogs, which can endanger the safety of true service dogs and persons with disabilities who own them. The group supports changes in Texas laws that will mirror one in California, which differentiates service dogs from emotional support dogs. The Texas group feels that such changes will be a huge step forward in protecting our true service dogs, said Wade. "We also hope that this movement will start in other states." Wade recounted in his testimony experiences with his guide dog Mulligan's interaction with fraudulent service dogs while on their travels to evaluate BRCs for BVA. Emotional support animals can provide support through companionship and can help ease anxiety, depression, and certain phobias. However, they are not service dogs and do not legally receive the same accommodations as service dogs. BVA saddened by India Bazemore passing. India Bazemore, first elected in 2017 as the BVA Auxiliary National Chaplain at the 72nd National Convention in Jacksonville, Florida, passed away on December 17, 2021. A resident of New Bern, North Carolina, India was also a volunteer National Service Officer at the Durham VA Medical Center and remained active in supporting the blinded veterans of the North Carolina Regional Group even after the death of her husband, Dallas, in 2018. Scholarship deadline fast approaching. Applications for the higher education scholarships for the 2022-23 academic year, 6 under the Catherine F. Gruber program for $2,000 each, and one $1,000 scholarship in the name of Thomas H. Miller, are due by Friday, April 29. Dependent children, grandchildren, and spouses of blinded veterans and those of active duty blinded service members of the U.S. Armed Forces are eligible for the scholarships. The veteran must be legally blind, and the blindness may be either service-connected or non-service-connected. Membership in BVA by the blinded veteran is not required. The Miller Program requires the same application process and qualifications as the Gruber Awards, except for an added emphasis on music and the fine arts. The Scholarship Committee will choose 7 total recipients and 2 alternates. Application materials for the scholarships and additional information may be obtained from https://bva.org/programs/scholarships-awards/ by request via email to bva@bva.org or to 202-371-8880, extension 330. Due to time constraints related to processing the applications for the Scholarship Committee's review, applications arriving after the April 29 deadline will not be accepted. NYRG BVA member salutes women Vist Bros. Warner Murray, author of poems, tributes, and short expressions of thanks, published in many issues of the Bulletin, has asked to represent BVA members in expressing appreciation to the women of VA during this Women's History Month of March. He has specific praise for his own VIST coordinator and bros as follows. We, the New York Regional Group Manhattan Support Group, congratulate our VIST coordinator, Ms. Natasha Molotok, during this Women's History Month. Her professional service rendered to blinded and visually impaired veterans is truly appreciated. Her learning sessions on Zoom, conference calls, and exchange of information were all wonderful experiences. Through 2 years of COVID-19 lockdown, her tenacity and resilience to support the morale of blinded veterans was superb. The New York City Bros is truly a gem to the Blinded Veterans Support Group. Ms. Deborah Kraut has persevered through all the changes wrought by COVID-19. She maintained her home visits, her technology training, and her mobility training. She wore a mask and a full protective gown and gloves for the safety of all involved. We express appreciation to Ms. Kraut during this Women's History Month for her resilience in providing quality service to blinded veterans.